So, since we are starting a new campaign known as Islands of the Far Sea, I'll just have you guys do little character introductions for who this new party is going to be. So why don't we, classically we started with Caleb last time. Why don't we start with you this time as well? Who's your character? What's their deal?
Alright, so my character goes simply by the name Bakara, no last name whatsoever. He is of African descent. He had to flee after an attempted assassination left him wounded. And seeing another one on the horizon, he faked his death and ran away to the Southern Kingdoms. Is that where we are? Southern Kingdoms? Or is that where he's from?
That's where he's from.
Sorry. He ran away from the Southern Kingdoms to these lovely islands that we are going to be spending our time on in the Far Sea.
Awesome.
I think that's all you're going to get out of me for now.
Sounds good. And Seth, who are you playing in this campaign?
I am playing the man known as Lilyheart. He is a Bastion native. Grew up in a poorer district of Bastion, and within his neighborhood, an industrializing force, this great underground disposal company, was setting up shop in his neighborhood. Was definitely like digging into the underground was causing a little too much turbulence. Not everything was quite structurally sound, and a lot of his neighborhood ended up catching fire and collapsing due to the great underground disposal company's doings. And nobody within the city, none of the city officials would do anything about it, so the people of the neighborhood rose up and started a little revolution that was quickly quelled.
Yeah.
The police came in, arrested a lot of people, including Lilyheart's brother. So he is currently working as a pirate, a privateer, to get the money required to buy his brother out of prison.
Awesome. And I should say too, we're playing a system called Into the Odd, and we're using a lot of the classes from Electric Bastion Land, which is his follow-up game that has a lot of really cool backgrounds for the Odd style games. Lilyheart is a failed revolutionary. And Caleb, what was Bakara? I think he was a...
What was it called? I don't think it's on the sheet. Something to do with bombs.
Yeah, essentially he's like a more like physical type character, more aggressive, almost like a fighter barbarian kind of vibe.
Yep.
Awesome. So why don't we go to Vinny next? Who's your character this time around? What failed profession do they have?
All right, my character's name is Devarse Numeron, son of the Numeran Fortune. There is no Numeran Fortune. But he is, I think it was Child of Light. Was it? No, that's something in Divinity Lost. Star Blessed, I believe,
Yeah,
was the.
that's right.
Which is kind of like, how would you describe that? More of a cleric, I guess.
Yeah.
Kinda.
Yeah, it's like a cleric with a bit of a culty kind of twist to it, I'd say. A lot of the religions in this world are called star cults because they worship the living stars, which are these like eldritch entities that exist in the night sky, and a lot of people believe that like through the stars you can contact the different planes. So
Nice. And Devars is also a native of Bastion. Bastion? Is that what it's...
Yeah.
He... I don't really think he had much of a family, but he was able to do well enough for himself by providing his services as a butler for a rich lord. And that proved pretty good for him until, unfortunately, the rich lord he was butlering for was old and perished and died. So he kind of took over this property, this manor, thinking that it's a great opportunity to, and made some friends around the local area. He thought this was a great opportunity with this. We got involved with this organization, and it turned out that they kind of weren't. Well, I won't say that they misled him, but he was allowed himself to be misled by basically this cult took over the manor. And once he kind of had the epiphany of what requirements the cult had to join, he was kind of just like, oh, this isn't going to be my life. Screw this. I'm not cutting off my dick and balls. And so basically faked his death so he could flee the cult and had to abandon the manor. Basically is like a childhood home, and leave it in the hands of these crazed cultists until he can one day get back to restore it to the glory it deserves, and that he'd seen it take care of it. And so he's just kind of doing what he can to get by and to make money and survive, living on the seas.
Awesome. And Ryan, who's your character this time around, and what's their failed profession?
My character's name is Gregory Marstel. He's a failed map thief, though he wasn't necessarily a thief at first. He grew up on the streets, and he was taken in by a old antiquities dealer outside of Bastion. And all that you know is he carries a tubular-shaped container on him, and that he is on the run from something.
Yeah, I love it so much. There's so much mystery to that.
He's a very standoffish person. You can see by the portrait. He grew up on the streets but was taken in, and so he has that like sort of dirty, trying to be polished vibe. Like, he has the right garments, they're just old and raggedy, and he has like manners, but they're not super polished. They're like enough to get by. He tries to be prim and proper where he can, but of course he's not like, he wasn't taught with manners, and so it comes off as like he's trying his best, but like he reverts back to his base griminess and like poor mannerisms.
Yeah, he's rough around the edges.
Yes, that's a good way to put it.
Awesome. So yeah, we'll begin very much. I know I told you guys this is, taking a lot of inspiration from the Soulsborne game, and specifically Bloodborne. And we'll begin in much the same fashion. If this is a movie, the first shot we'd see is just utter blackness. Maybe there's like hints of smoke coming in and out of the darkness, but it's otherwise completely black. We hear the distant sounds of overlapped waves crashing against a shore, and we just hear a single voice coming over the darkness. That's how the old saying goes. You should be loyal to the nightmare of your choice. We hard cut from there to a beach. Each of you has sand in your mouths. You hear waves crashing nearby. Small crabs and scavenging fish pick at your flesh as if you were a corpse already. You look down and see your hands are shackled together. Scattered across this desolate marshland before you are bloated corpses, all stripped of their loot, floating limply inside fetid tide pools. In the distance, much like the art, you see 3 hulking silhouettes, beached galleons of Her Dread Majesty's Royal Navy, laying at the horizon's edge of this broken landscape. The sky is yet unseen, covered in a dreary fog that smells of rust and tastes of blood, twisting your perception of time. Cackling seabirds circle overhead. They scream with delight to see you struggle against the wrought iron manacles that bind you all together, shackled to an iron bar that's wedged in the sand. And struggle you must, for something shrieks as it crawls towards you. A corpse eater. A giant
what the
crab
fuck?
the size of a bull with long, spindly legs. Everyone roll a dex save to try to escape your shackles in
Let's
time.
go first roll.
My dex
Natural
is my worst
20.
stat. Yeah, 20's bad, right? You want to go under your...
You guys get fucked.
Okay. So let me change the music here as
I was Lily Hart.
you all look down, and all of you, like I said, are shackled to this bar. Like it's a long bar that's wedged in the sand, and all of you are shackled to it. But Devars is the only one that, like, his manacles are damaged enough that he manages to get out. As you see this corpse harvester begin to crawl its way across the marsh towards you. And I'm gonna roll what's called a luck roll in this system to determine which of you it targets. So 1 to 2 will be Marcel, 3 to 4 will be Bakara, 5, 6 will be Lilyheart.
Oh, it's only willing to attack those in manacles?
Oh, all right, that's a good point. I'll do a D4 then.
Maybe I smile and wave to him though to show that my hands are free, and then yeah, he knows I'm friendly.
Is there
Nah, dude, he's making all that motion. Obviously, he's the bigger
Alright, so-
target.
So 1 Marcel, 2 Bakara, 3 Devars, 4 Lilyheart.
It's fair.
3 Devars.
No!
Nice escape, loser.
So
At least you can run.
you manage the plus side of passing your deck save, right, is essentially that functions like initiative. So you break out in time to fight the crab before it gets to you. So why don't you roll damage? It's gonna be which weapon do you have again?
I have the star metal mace.
Okay. Oh, another point of order, right? You do see the mace, but it's not on you currently because you're shackled. You see it off in like a
But
dune,
not me.
probably like 10, 15 feet away. So why don't you roll a d4 just to try to hit it? Unless you want to try to run and
Can
get
I
your
run
mace.
to my mace?
Yeah.
How far? It's like, yeah. What am I rolling? It's a d20, or
Yeah, so you can roll. I'm gonna have you roll another dex save to try to make it to the mace before this corpse eater can hit you.
oh boy.
Because it's going straight for you.
Yes.
Oh, nice. All right.
I need a good start.
So you start to rush towards your mace, and you actually manage to grab it. And, you know, the corpse eater, seeing you start to move, is drawn away by Devars and starts to head, following him into one of the dunes. So that gives the rest of you time to
Shit.
go to the next round. Why don't you all give me... you know what, actually? Instead of doing dex saves, why don't you each tell me, starting with Marcel, how are you going to try to get out of these iron shackles?
Funny enough, I have a lockpick on me.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to frantically search for the lockpick in my pocket and try to find a hole to properly pick these shackles.
Okay. And yeah, because it's part of your profession, it's no time at all. You basically end up taking the lockpick and just like shimmying your hands together and just taking the small piece of metal, shoving it inside and just hearing a click. you see your individual shackles fall to the ground, but the rest of them are still stuck on the bar. What would you like to... you have movement as well, so would you like to...
How far away is the mace?
15 feet.
Mm.
You also
think-
see your stuff sort of scattered around the nearby area. Anything that might not be on your person. And actually, while I'm thinking of it, I'm going to change the music.
Marshall's going for his stuff.
This kind of
He's
is the
fucking getting
Skyrim
out.
start. We're all prisoners.
So you see him as he picks his lock, he starts doing like sort of like the butt scuttle, like trying to get on his feet while like frantically running for his stuff, and he tries to pick up as much stuff as he can, specifically trying to find that circular tube, and then he makes a run for it.
Awesome.
Specifically in the opposite direction of Devars.
Yeah, so he's sort of heading away from the galleon. So are you heading towards them?
Who's them?
Devars is heading away from the galleons. So are
Yeah.
you going to head in the direction towards them?
I guess so, yeah.
Okay.
Just away from the crab.
Yeah. Bakara, how is Bakara getting out of these shackles?
So are we like we're shackled like arms up to a pole kind of thing?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so the rock strategy's out of the way. He may just have to try to brute strength himself off of them. Does he see any like weak points in the thing that we're attached to?
You do see it's like broken off and sort of stuck in the sand. So if you were to try to like hit that edge of it so that the bar would bend, you might be able to like take your shackles and just slide them off entirely.
All right, yeah, I'll give that a shot. Try to bust up the pole that's holding us.
All right, why don't you give me a strength save? Nice. Natural 1, which is a natural 20 in this system.
It's so confusing.
So you manage to take the bar and just split it in half. So not only are you freed, Lilyheart is also freed by the same token. So you both
You're sick.
Yeah, you slide your shackles off, and I imagine you two would probably know each other, being revolutionaries. And you sort of lock eyes in this moment. Do you stay near the bar, or where are you guys heading off to?
I'm gonna call over to Lilyheart. I assume it's like basically right next to me.
Yeah.
We've got to get off of here. Get out of here as fast as possible. He's just gonna try to like start shimmying himself off, almost like pulling Lilyheart with him off the side of the pole that he broke. And we're still tied up, so our wrists are like bound, right?
Yeah, there's still like the set of like iron manacles on each of you, but you've managed to like slide them off of the pole. If that makes any sense.
Gotcha. I think we need to get these things off of us immediately. I'm gonna look around and see if I can find my stuff, and probably just go to my stuff.
Yeah, you do find your stuff. It's sort of scattered amongst the marshes. Some of it you have to go scrounging around for, but you've got time now that the crab is sidetracked.
Cool. Yeah, I guess, and then I'll get ready to attack this crab because no man left behind.
Awesome. And Lilyheart, what are you doing?
Yeah, Lilyheart is also gonna rush over to his trusty weapon. He's not like very conventionally combat trained, so his weapon of choice is of course a pitchfork. So he
What? That's so
goes
funny.
goes and grabs his trusty sharpened pitchfork from amidst the wreckage, and is ready to charge this thing. Because I feel like a pitchfork should be able to, you know, just like hold it out and run even if your hands are kind of bound, right?
Yeah. Yeah, so you guys each grab your weapons. And this coming around, it's just going to be the crab and Devars. So Devars, why don't you give me a dex save to see if you can act before the crab? Actually, since Bakara and Lilyheart might enter in as well, why don't you both give me a dex save as well? This will be initiative.
Oh boy.
Let's go. Fast as fuck, boy.
Alright, dex. Wait, you said everyone dex save?
Yep. Nice.
Oh, baby.
You see this
Wow.
thing is like, it's large, but because it's large, it's sort of like lumbering over. It's not as quick as you'd previously thought. And all of you get to act before it this round. So you see it's making its way over. It's basically on Devars by this point. But you all could potentially move and attack it. So why don't we start with Lilyheart this round? What would you like to do?
Alright, Lilyheart has definitely had his fair share of shellfish living in Bastion, I'd think. So he's gonna, you know how with crabs and lobsters, like you rip them apart at the joints, he's just gonna like run and like stab it in its shoulder joint. Ah! And just he's not particularly well trained or anything, but he's got the gall.
Nice. Yeah, why don't you... I think it's a D8 for your pitchfork, right? Why don't you roll that?
Yeah. All right. Eight.
Holy shit. It's actually perfect because you described hitting that vulnerable point. You stick it with the pitchfork right where its carapace ends and its flesh begins. And you actually single-handedly take out its HP pool. So now you've gone past the carapace. It's actually cracking off, and you've exposed a part of it underneath. Now it's just its strength. So if you guys diminish this to 0, it'll die. So that's huge.
Nice.
Yeah. And you know what? Actually, we'll hold off on that. Who would you like to go next? Out of the three of you.
Well, I am looking at Bakara has the lower number, so I'm gonna give it to Bakara.
Alright, so without having any melee weapons, is this pitchfork still in the thing?
Yeah, maybe he's like skewered it, and he's given you somewhat of an opening.
Can I try to like... My hands are kind of wrapped around these chains. Can I try to just like... How in the way of this thing are? Essentially, I'm going to try to ram into the back of it with like my shoulder to get it to go in further. Because my hands are kind of still restricted, and I'm not going to try to like, grab it with the manacles and stuff. I'm just going to try to like, shoulder press the thing further into it while he's holding it steady.
Oh, cool. All right. I like that. Yeah, why don't you roll a strength check? This will be considered a gambit in this system. So the side at... Actually, I think this crab is probably going to make a save, because the way it's supposed to go is the side at most danger makes a save. And I think the crab's at most danger in this situation. So it's going to make a check. I'm going to roll in the open in this campaign.
It's going to be my 2, probably. Contested.
So it's got to get below a 12 to succeed. Which it does. You try to thrust it further onto its, what's impaling it currently, onto this pitchfork. But it's such a meaty crab, and it's just massive. Like, it's the size of like a cow. So you sort of try to grab it and force it, but it's not really budging. That being said, do you want to stay holding on to it, or do you want to let go and sort of back up?
I was planning on not grabbing it at all, just like throwing my shoulder into the end of it. So
Gotcha.
Not grabbing it.
Yeah, you sort of knock it, but it doesn't go enough to like inflict further damage on the pitchfork.
What's his face? Lilyheart's too strong.
Yeah, what's Lilyheart doing?
I feel like...
Oh, sorry.
Lily-
I meant to say Devars. Devars is the last one in this initiative order.
Was I able to like grab my mace? Oh, wait. I'm just gonna take my mace and just run over to the thing and just clobber it. Just gonna try to smash its head in with my mace. It's just quick and efficiently as possible. I'm kind of scared, so.
Awesome. So the only thing is, with another attack against the same creature, actually, what damage die is your mace?
D6.
Okay. The only thing is, like, when multiple attackers attack the same enemy, you always take the highest die for the damage. So because it's a D6, I don't think you can get higher than Lilyheart's 8. So essentially, you'd be taking the mace and, like, engaging in combat with it, but not dealing damage, if that's cool with you.
Oh, okay. So does that weaken it? Or what effect would that have on it if it's not taking damage?
I will say...
I'm still gonna attack it though.
Okay. You know what? I'll say, just to make this fun, I can give bonuses for certain situations. I think because it's skewered with the pitchfork, I'll give
Maybe
you
I'll smash its legs in.
Okay. I'll give you a plus...
Trip it or something.
Yeah, that's sick. I'll give you a plus D8 bonus. So you're going to roll a D6 and a D8 and take the higher.
Oh.
Does he have to hit first?
No, these are both, like, it goes straight to damage, which is fun. Okay. So you're sort of keeping it at bay, but it seems like you're just hitting its carapace. And Lilyheart sort of still has it skewered. Would you like to stay fighting it, or would you like to withdraw or, like, move somewhere else?
I think I'm gonna stay and just keep wailing on it with my mace. That's the plan.
All right. And Marcel, you're over on the other side. You're not even in this, like, combat per se.
Yep.
But I'm gonna give you some information because you're sort of not in the middle of a fight right now.
Yeah. What can I see with our situation here?
Yeah, you see marshland stretching northeast towards this set of, like, black mountains. Towards the southwest, you see what looks like a sunken watchtower that's, like, sort of like at the Tower of Pisa. It's, like, half falling over into a bay. And you also see these, like, strange blue crystal shards that are growing like cysts from the marsh. You can actually see it in the concept art. It's these patches of, like, pale blue that look like just crystals growing out of the ground.
Interesting. Okay. The ship we were on, I'm assuming it's like the one in the picture and it crashed, right?
The weird thing is, you sort of run your hand behind your hair and you pull out blood.
Mm-hmm.
And you gather you all have suffered some sort of head wound.
Okay.
But if you'd like to press it, you can essentially make a willpower save to try to remember what happened.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Okay. Why don't you give me a willpower save?
Willpower. Why am I rolling so high?
The ship on the far left looks somewhat familiar to you. You see written along the side, Loyal Watcher. Like, that's the name.
What was it?
The Loyal Watcher. Like, that's the name of the ship. It's emblazoned along the hull.
Okay.
But now we'll go to the Corpse Harvester, who is now going to shift and attack Lilyheart, who's now skewered it. It's going to try to claw.
Oh, shit.
So that's going to be 5 damage to you, so you're just going to subtract that from your HP. So I think you probably have 1 HP left, right?
No, I have 0.
Oh,
HP
shit!
left.
All right.
5 was my HP.
All right, so do you have exactly 0?
Yes, I have exactly 0.
Oh, this is fun. All right, so
Crazy.
this is when scars come into effect. So there's a scars table that I'm gonna roll, or I'll have you roll, and I'll tell you which one it is. The cool thing is,
Okay.
a lot of these can be good for you because essentially, like, the more you get into combat, the more resilient you become. So these are like a quasi level up in some ways.
What the fuck?
Yeah, it's cool. So why don't you roll a d12? It can be good or bad, depending on what you roll.
Okay. A 4 in this case.
4. Oh, this one's brutal. This crab, it takes its pincer and just rakes you across the face, and it just tears out some of your teeth in the process. You spit, and there's just teeth and blood scattering across the sand. But otherwise, luckily for you, no other effects. You're just missing like 3 or 4 teeth from the front of your mouth. And there's just blood coursing down your jaw at this point.
Okay.
Which will take us back to the start of this round. Why don't you all roll dex saves, those in the combat.
Ooh.
Nice. So once again, you guys all get to act. Why don't we start with Bakara this time?
Okay, dope.
You know what? Actually, sorry. I'll have it this way, right? So to make this easier, I'll have you all roll damage for your weapons, and we'll take the highest. That's how it's supposed to work, where like the highest damage is the one that goes through. The other damage is supposed to reflect like you fighting the creature but not getting in a hit, or setting up the person that does hit so they can get the damage.
Alright, so if we're attacking, we roll a die.
Yeah.
Our damage die, and we just take whichever is the highest.
Yeah. Do all of you wish to
Ooh.
attack this crab?
so I don't.
I'm gonna attack.
I'm attacking the crab.
I'm attacking the
So
crab.
you-
Varus is attacking the crab.
All right. Devaris, Lilyheart. If you want to, you can either choose to like do a gambit, Caleb, or you could try to use your fists against it, or you could do something I'm not thinking of. But
Sure. I guess like I don't know if this game has any sort of concept of improvised weapons, but
yeah, it's a D4.
oh, it's like same as fists sort of thing.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think I want to get close to this thing. So, are there any like sharp sticks on the ground?
Yeah. There are like these trees that are growing up from the ground, and they're just like you could like rip off a branch from one of them pretty easily.
Okay. Can I, instead of attacking it with it, just try to like keep it at bay from everybody else, like keep it from advancing on us while they're attacking it?
Yeah. Why don't you roll a D6? Awesome. Okay. So Lilyheart, why don't you tell me how you skewer this thing?
Yeah, so he seemingly it's think of it as like a boxing match where it swipes him across the face, he spits out his teeth, and he goes limp for a second, but then tightens his grip back on the pitchfork and just leverages it, and the leg comes prying off, and all of like the sinews that are attached from the inside are pulled out of its leg socket, along with presumably some of its guts. So it just yanks out a good portion of
Oh,
its
God.
innards through its leg socket.
Oh, I love it though. Yeah, you drag out a lot of its crab guts, and they just splay on the beach like this grotesque feast for the crows. And at this point, all the nearby, like, threats at least have been placated. You look around and just see, like, bloated corpses, and like I said, those silhouettes of galleons in the distance. And I'll change the music over.
You see Gregory starting to like loot other corpses, see if there's anything, or like loot the corpses and or supplies to see if there's anything on them that he can use, or scavenge.
These corpses on the beach, oddly, seem to have already been looted by someone.
Huh.
You find like just basic clothing on them. Even like, small change they might have had has been looted, and individuals, like you see some soldiers, even they like don't have their weapons. Women's
Does anyone have
women's earrings have
nice-
been removed.
Yeah.
Like
Does anyone
they've
have
thoroughly
nicer
looted.
clothing than Gregory right now? Like, is there like an overcoat that has less holes than mine?
Yeah, you do find like this stout noble, his corpse just at the side of a tide pool. Is a pretty nice coat.
Cool. I'll take it, but before I put it on, you see like a flash, and you see Gregory's knife flick out from somewhere, but suddenly he's holding a small like knife and starts cutting it up a little bit, and then runs it through the dirt, and then puts it on.
Nice.
And he does that with any other piece of clothes that like is better than his currently.
Yeah, so currently we have Lilyheart and Bakara that still have their shackles on, and Devars and Marcel that are both free. Do you guys try to get those shackles off?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think
you see
Lilyheart and
Marcel after
Bakara
he's
would,
done
like,
looting, he's like, "Good on ya," and he like unlocks the shackles and then goes back to looting.
I love it.
Glad to see we're your top priority.
If you didn't notice, there was 4 men shackled to a beach, and a crab chasing one of them. I was able to get free, and I took my chance to run. Not exactly like we know each other, is it? And you see him like dusting off like a coin, maybe that he found off like a body, and he pockets it.
Lilyheart, after being freed, just grabs a handful of sand and kind of rubs it into his face to, like soak up some of his blood that's
Ow.
spilling from like his lip. To just like help staunch the bleeding to some extent.
And what are Bakara and Devars both doing?
What happened to the people that had handcuffed us originally? They fled, or
I think you have to remember, because we just
Yeah,
woke up.
Who were
shackled
these
to a
people?
oh shit!
Yeah,
Yeah.
you guys have no idea where you are, what the last like amount of time has been. If you'd like to try to force yourself to remember, you can roll a willpower save.
I'll roll a willpower save.
Nice.
Oh, nice.
Okay. So what you remember at this stage, Devars, you remember being on the deck of a ship and seeing a gathering storm on the horizon approaching with unnatural speed. You see black lightning snaking from the water to the sky in reverse. And you feel a pain from the back of your neck at recalling this. And all of you can see that on the back of Devars's neck, there's a brand, like someone hit him with a hot iron. And you see the initials SPC. Looking at each other, you notice you all have this SPC brand somewhere on your bodies, mostly around like your chest and your neck area. And it seems to burn almost like a dry ice kind of burn, like a cold searing sensation, albeit faint. And you all know this brand to be the brand of the Southern Pass Company, which is this world's version of the East India Company.
Southern.
I mean, no use in dawdling. Find what you can and get moving. You don't even see Marcel, I think, skip a beat from like unshackling everyone and like continue looting for supplies. And so when we look at the distance, are the ships beached and
Yeah.
like destroyed? Okay.
Yeah, you see one of them, it has the name the Loyal Watcher on the side. You also see, it looks like there's like a decrepit rowboat that's parked alongside it in like a small tide pool. Next to that, so in the middle, in the concept art, you see a ship with the name the Endymion. It looks more grand and more ornate than the Loyal Watcher. And on the right, you see a ship that is just in terrible shape. You see it's actually split almost in two, completely dashed on the rocks. And that one is called the Gilliflower. And as Devar sort of remembers and maybe talks to you about this, you feel some kind of connection to the ship, the Loyal Watcher. Like maybe that was the one you guys were on before this storm happened.
What was the last ship's name you said?
The Gilliflower.
The Gilliflower.
Gill-
I'll put it in the chat.
Gilliflower.
Gilliflower.
So when we look behind us, like basically towards wherever we are, is it just like dense forest? Like is it like a legitimate island or?
Yeah, so if you look the opposite direction, it's just extended marshland, and you see in the distance this like sunken tower, like I said, that appears to be falling into the ocean. But yeah, it looks like a true island, like in the far distance. So in the direction that's not in front of you and behind you, so directly north, you see like a mountain range, black peaks extending above like thick thorny jungle.
Gregory walks over to the blue glowing crystal things and goes to examine them while he's like on his way trying to find useful kit on the ground.
Yeah, you pick them up and you sense, having dealt with what are called arcanum before, essentially like powerful magical items that function as spells, you gather these might have some sort of magical properties to them. But if you'd like to ascertain, you'll just have to make a willpower save to try to figure out their purpose.
Yeah, I will.
Okay.
Oh, finally.
Oh, wow. Hell yeah. You know that these are somehow naturally growing instances of this delicacy called crystal shard. It's a highly addictive substance that a lot of occultists use to astrally project themselves. Essentially, their entire body and their consciousness becoming ethereal for a certain amount of time. And you know that for this to occur, the crystals themselves have to be crushed and either ingested or inhaled. But with a success, you also know that it's highly addictive and lethal if you use it more than a few too many times at once.
Interesting. Okay. I think he's gonna pocket a couple of them, just in case. And maybe a good few, so he can potentially sell them, pawn them off later.
Yeah, I'll say you managed to pocket 5 of them.
Nice.
5 crystals. And those are like all in the immediate area that you see.
Yeah.
You do know they're pretty valuable if you were to ever make it back to civilization or like a port.
I motion to the everyone else as I'm picking up. I actually throw a crystal back, picks them up. They're valuable. We can maybe use them if we ever get back to civilization.
How do you guys respond?
Or get high, whatever. I don't care. And you see him like crush a shard and like let it go to the wind as he's like not breaking stride, just going down the beach collecting them.
I feel like Lilyheart is more concerned not with like the loot that's contained on the beach, but like finding shelter. So instead looking more inland or down the beach. I know you said there was like a collapsed like tower or something.
Yep. So I'll go a little metagame here because I think it'll just be helpful. In this current hex you guys are in, there are the beached galleons and the sunken tower, which you see like at the bottom area of the hex you guys are in. Exploring any like given part of a hex takes 4 hours.
Jesus.
So if you'd like to explore, which in this game is called a watch, there are a certain number of watches a day, and you can use them to do what you will. So if you wanted to explore all of the galleons, it'd take 4 hours. If you wanted to head over to the sunken tower and explore it, it would take 4 hours. But to answer your question in those terms, let me pull up my map actually,
Also, what time of day is it?
looks to be morning.
Okay.
Like perhaps a nightly storm had taken you here. But yeah, you see the next hex to the northeast appears to be more marshland. From this distance, you can't tell like what is there, but you could continue traveling to find out. And to the northeast, so the other hex that's adjacent to you, you see also more marshland. So essentially, if you wanted to go try to find like shelter or means of like water or food, you just have to head in that direction if you didn't want to search the galleons or the tower.
Yeah, I mean it would probably be wise to see what supplies we can get out of the wreckage. So maybe we should stay here and see what we can scrounge up.
We'd have to get to the galleons though first, right? Because they're off the shore.
Yeah.
Are these stones that are in the ground, are they like reminiscent of anything that I dream about?
Not like the thing you dream about, no.
Okay. I think I'll help him pick up as many as we can as we're going anyways.
Okay. Yeah, I'll say you help him pick up his 5 that he ends up taking.
It's always good to have a bargaining chip.
I see where your head's at.
I mean,
What are they doing? Looking for Felder?
For what?
I said, what are they doing? Like, I'm assuming you came and helped me. Like, what are the other two doing?
Oh, I believe they are trying to figure out a place where we could be at least safe for a little bit. But maybe go check out one of those, and I kind of point off in the distance at the galleons or the ships is the other option.
Yeah, so the galleons and the sunken tower are the 2 points of interest in your hex.
But I don't know if either of those are going to be safe or more dangerous than being out here.
Those are my thoughts. I remember being on a ship, and now we're off the ship, and there's a storm. I don't think I'd particularly want to go back there, but Safety in numbers,
Either
I
way,
guess.
I think we should all stick together. I don't think any one of us could have handled that crab alone.
I motion over to the rest of the group. So what? Are we going to the ships? And you see Gregory's like done collecting his gems, crystals.
So long as I don't have to fight another one of those crustaceans.
Now, I don't know if that will be up to us.
And as you all make your way over, just this like sense of vaguely knowing each other but not remembering each other comes over your minds. It's this odd feeling like you've just woken up from a dream almost, like there's bits and pieces you remember but not everything. And you guys arrive at the 3 beached galleons. Which one would you like to explore first? Or would you like to go on separate ones?
The Santa Maria.
Nina, Pinta, Santa Maria.
I would say the
Well, you
Royal
said that we had,
Watcher,
we
right?
had the
'Cause,
Loyal
yeah.
Watcher was the one we felt most like attached to. We had
connect-
kind of like this
yeah
hunch
connection
that
to. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the galleon that seems most familiar to you out of the 3.
Loyal Watcher it is. I think we're probably all going together.
Yeah, we can try to use it to jog our memory or something.
Okay. So as you approach the Loyal Watcher, oddly, you see that like hooks are embedded in the hull, like someone used them to climb aboard safely from the outside. Like I said before, you see nearby there's a decrepit rowboat that looks to be just idling by itself in a tide pool and looks to have supplies in it.
Ooh.
And other than that, you see it's adorned in just like the typical finery of like a Royal Navy ship or like a company ship.
You see Gregory start heading to the rowboat, see if he can find any good supplies.
Okay. You find inside the boat what looks like supplies from a previous looter. There are hooks and rope, a small bottle of wine, a wedge of cheese, which counts for a standard ration. So you have to consume 1 ration a day, so that could be someone's ration.
Mm-hmm.
There's a water ration, which is like essentially like a bottle or a I forget the term. Essentially like any sort of water container that has water in it that's potable. And dried fish, which is what's called an iron ration. So their standard rations will spoil after a week's time. Iron rations will stay good for a month.
Interesting.
So we have a standard ration, an iron ration, and a water ration from that.
Yeah. You also see there's like a fragment of what looks like a mask in the boat. The gold of it has been scratched off, and it looks like there were sockets for jewels, and those have been pried out. But it's clearly an ancient mask with its eyes closed.
Jojo.
Jojo.
I'm gonna go check out. Is there like a captain's quarters?
Yeah, so I'm going to actually reveal this to you guys. This is actually a deck plan of like a 17th century galleon.
You said that there was a mask, or what did you said it was an old royal mask, or what?
It looks like a funeral mask.
Funeral mask.
and it looks ancient, like it was. It could be an
Funny
an
enough.
arcanum of some kind.
Funny enough, does my antiquities background make me reminding me of anything that I've seen before?
Yes. Yeah, it seems to derive from a past civilization called the Ancients.
Okay.
There were rumors that they were ruled by these sorcerer kings that came in lineage, and magic was much more abundant back then, and, you know, people could recite and cast spells from tomes and learn them and share that information, but that has since been lost to this current world. And all that's left is just these magic items called arcana that they've left behind.
Interesting.
But this is a funeral mass from that time period, and just holding it in your hands, you can tell it's also an arcanum. So if you'd like to discern its use, you'll just need to make a willpower check. Otherwise, you'll have to discern its use by using it.
I will try to take a willpower.
Okay.
Let's see. Willpower. No.
Yeah, sometimes you can tell, but other times it's way too esoteric to even attempt or hazard a guess. You gather that maybe like wearing it or having someone else wear it might have some effect, but it could be very hazardous to attempt this. Like, you might have to either have a captive try it or someone you don't care about them dying. You have no idea what it does.
Okay. Is there a corpse nearby?
No, this boat is empty.
Damn. Okay. Anyone fancy a drink? And then I toss, I guess whoever's closest to me, like the bottle of wine. And then probably
Gotta stay hydrated. And I'll take a
swig.
All right, who are taking the rations and the iron ration, the standard ration, and the water ration? Who are taking those?
So do they all count as like one ration, or are those separate like resources that we need?
Yeah, so essentially you'll need a water ration and either an iron or a standard ration each day.
It's just that the
all
iron
of us
ones last longer.
Yeah.
Okay.
You say for all of us or just per?
For each of us, yeah.
For each of
That's
you.
crazy.
Yeah. I mean, it's like real life. Like, you need food and water to survive.
Yeah. Just making sure.
Past a certain point, I mean, it's longer for food, and it's shorter for water. Like, you'll just be unable to regain HP. Is how it works.
Yeah.
Well, I could certainly do with something to eat and drink. I did take a rather nasty hit from that corpse eater back there.
Be my guest, and I toss him a ration in the water. For some reason, like you get a feeling that Marstal isn't like doesn't care. It's not like he doesn't care about other people. He's just focused on something, and you don't know what it is. And you don't know if that's like getting out of here, if he's curious about the ship, but like he's helping you guys. It's just very secondary to whatever else he's doing.
Picking up on Marshall's like focus, Devar's gonna turn to like him and the group and just be like, "So, anyone got any guesses about, how we? Anyone have any theories about what we're all doing here?" I think I figured it out.
I can't remember a thing, and I point to the back of my
know.
head and turn around, and like I just have a absolute gash in the back of my head.
I'm gonna show like my neck brand. My biggest fear. I think we're sex slaves.
You actually hear Marcel like chuckle a tiny bit. Have I worked with the SPC before, like shipping antiques at all?
No, because you know that they don't do business. They just seize Arcanum where they can.
I see.
Um,
Okay.
You know that having been branded by the company means you were at some point considered their property.
Hmm.
I knew it. Arr.
You might not be too far off, but not sure they deal in sex slave. They usually deal in Arcanum, like this. And I toss him the funeral mask and I say, "Don't put it on." And he stares at you for a second, and like stares you down. And is like, "No, really, you shouldn't put it on."
Ooh, spooky.
So on the map, are we like here? Are we at the base at like here? Or are we
You guys
somewhere
are,
else?
you guys are sort of near the rudder on the map.
Oh, okay.
You're sort of at the back of the boat. But yeah, you see that there are those hooks embedded in the side of the ship for someone to climb. You could use those to make it up.
Is there
if
like
you'd
a cargo net anywhere?
Yeah, it's up near the stern castle.
Okay. I don't know about you folks, but rope climbing isn't my strong suit, but there's a cargo net on the other side if you want to get up and start searching this thing.
Yeah, I find that agreeable.
No time like the present. And I start climbing.
We'll start heading to the front of the galleon.
Okay. So you head up, and the first point you reach is the weather deck, which is the very top of the ship. And you see that along the weather deck are just bodies lining like rows like irrigated crops that you'd see in a farm. And as you pass by, you see the motion of these tiny crabs that are just nibbling at their wounds. Blood.
I don't like that.
Blood just staining the deck. There's perhaps 36 men dead on the top of here. They all look like company Marines. Interestingly, this is an interesting point of order. All the Marines have the SPC brand on them. But they're all dead. And they appear to have been mostly looted. All their weapons are gone. The only weapons you find... Are you going to sort of like pilfer the bodies a little bit?
Yeah, I thought like... you see...
Threats before we do that.
Yeah, what'd you say?
Redo that.
What do you want to do?
Do what, Caleb?
Should we look for any other actual threats besides these baby? Maybe there's another big crab underneath, hiding, waiting for us or something. Before we get distracted.
That's a good point.
Yeah, true. Maybe
Cool.
we do want to
About.
like look around so we're not taken by surprise.
Cool. Yeah, the cool thing about this system is like it's all just about declaring intent. So if you tell me you're looking for that, like you're just going to detect it if you take enough time to do so. You don't detect any threats on the weather deck. You see that it looks like the only thing that seems I wouldn't say a threat, but perhaps a hazard of some kind, is the doors, which are called the grand doors to the stern castle, appear to be firmly locked and bolted shut from the inside. But other than that, there doesn't appear to be anyone living on this ship.
From the inside.
There could be something in there. Or someone. But I doubt someone who did this.
Climbing is like a dexterity-based thing, right?
Yeah.
In this.
Perhaps we could drop a rope from behind the ship. Have somebody descend down onto the captain's balcony. See if they can get inside that way.
Weather deck. Captains.
I mean, I have
Where are you seeing that?
Well, you said like where the. I'm assuming that's like where the captain's quarter is, right? Like
Mhm.
towards the stern castle. Yeah.
Yeah, having.
So
I should
near
tell you this
the back of the
actually.
ship, I'm looking at this this diagram and I see a little balcony out the back of like that.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
For the
yeah, yeah,
ship's
gotcha,
lantern.
gotcha.
Yeah.
Yes, 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 yes.
Yeah. So you could
Kick the
potentially
water.
climb on top of the stern castle and descend below the ship's lantern to try to like get in through the windows if you wanted to.
Those great cabin doors. Is there like a slit in between them at all, or like any gaps that I can peer through?
Yeah, there is.
Credit card.
Yeah, I want to try to peer through it, but also like, I don't know if it's like a beam or if it's like just a, like a backyard gate locking mechanism type thing. I want to see if I can stick like a thin something in there. Maybe I find like a rapier or sword on the ground, or like a slim piece of something, and try to see if I can like force up the lock on the door.
Okay. Yeah. So, are you looking amongst the bodies to try to find that thin piece of something?
Yeah.
As you go around, you find a common-looking but well-made steel sword.
Oh,
Uh,
that's fancy.
Yeah, it does D6 damage.
Okay.
You find a Morion, which is essentially like a conquistador helmet, which has armor 1. So if you were to put that on, it'd reduce all damage by 1 that's incoming. As you approach the grand doors, you also find a thief's lockpicks that are abandoned by the doors. Like someone tried to get in, but they couldn't.
Oh, why would they leave them here though? That's fucking weird. I don't like that. I'll pocket them, but I'm gonna try the rapier. Well, before that, I probably look back to the rest of the party and be like, someone's gonna. I jingle the keys and like, someone's definitely tried this already. I'm not sure, but if you haven't found out, all the loot's gone. Everyone's dead, and these lockpicks still in the door. So be on guard. And I shove the rapier in between and start jiggling it to see if I can get anything to unlock.
Well, we don't gotta be gentle. Why don't we just break down the door?
I look away while I'm still jiggling the sword in between the cracks and say, I don't know if you can see this. Not the most fit person, and I just keep jiggling it.
Yeah, you take the sword. Are you looking through as well when you're like?
Yeah. When I'm not talking to the party, I'm like looking through and viewing it around.
Yeah. So now that you're up close to the doors, you see that the actual doors themselves are like carved with these elaborate depictions of a great conquest by Bastion's military. And just peeking through this hole, the immediate thing you see is this like blackened portrait that hangs on the far wall. It looks to be like an admiral of some kind, but you can't really see who from here. You see there's a full set of armor that appears to be on a stand by this like huge mahogany desk. You can only assume that's probably the captain's area. You see one of the back windows appears to be slightly ajar, like someone had opened the pane out to maybe get some air in. And you just see like all sorts of like maps and charts scattered across the tables in here.
Okay. I turn back to the party and say, we could get on the balcony. It seems like the doors or the windows are slightly open. No one's in there, at least from what I can see, but there's some armor, some maps. We might be able to figure out where we are.
I feel like the other 3 of us are just staring at you. Just knowing that you're the type of build who could most easily slip in that way.
I fucking hate that. I don't trust any of you as far as I can throw you. And if you could tell, and I point to my arm again, can't throw pretty far.
Oh, dude, someone hold the rope. And then can I like rope off like the back down to the window?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think.
And then I want to
Lily
smash
Hart
the window.
We'll also like hold the rope, maybe with like Bakara or something.
Yes, I will help you out.
I think it's
Rappel
funny that you
down.
smashed the window because I said the window was already ajar. Like you could probably just open it, but you
Yeah, yeah.
Anyway.
He takes the opportunity. He's like
Swing.
this mace
And
and like crawls like through like even though it's like already open, he just had to like get rid of all the glass. Like
Okay. So that all sounds pretty reasonable to me. I don't think that would require a check per se. The only question I have is, and this might require a check, are you going to try to tie it off to the boat or have people holding the rope as you descend?
Maybe tying it off is the best idea.
Yeah,
Does like do like the
around
do the
back.
exterior like railings on the ship, do they seem to be sturdy enough to support a rope?
Are you talking about the up above the stern castle?
Yeah.
They do appear to be, but you realize like there is some chance of risk tying it off here because like the ship is damaged because of the storm. So
Yeah,
I
guess
think
it's
I'd
a
be more
ship and they have
comfortable at
really
this
big
point,
ropes, so could just tie one of those big ass ropes to like the mast.
I think he'd be more comfortable with that at this point in the party, anyways. So
okay, so if
No
that's
offense.
Mizzen mast.
if that's the case, I'm gonna have Devars roll a luck roll, and the odds of this are gonna be pretty low that something bad happens. So
what's
so you're gonna roll a luck roll, which is a d6.
Is that just a
and
D6?
and I'm gonna roll a d6. The only time something bad will happen is if you roll the same number. So
that's
if
funny.
I roll the same number as you, then whatever part of
Before-
the ship will break.
Before he ropes down, I didn't see. I turned to him and say I didn't see anything, but just in case, and I like flip the rapier on the other side and give him like so he can hold the saber. I don't know what weapon he has, but like I'm also giving him the saber.
Ooh,
Okay.
the corpse
Ooh.
harvester. Oh no, you're
It's
dead.
crawling up the
Oh,
side of
no.
the ship. Okay. Yeah, so you're fine. You have your rapier in hand and you're just lowered down and you see there's this like open window. Do you still shatter the glass with your mace?
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely.
As soon as you shatter the glass with your mace, you feel this like sudden sharp pain in your side as something from within just jabs this weapon out at you. It's gonna roll damage immediately on you.
Oh shit.
That's gonna be 5 damage to your HP.
Oh no.
As you see from
I'm at
I
zero.
thought you said something bad will happen only if you roll the same number.
How far from like this plank thing
Oh,
is the
shit.
deck? Like, is it like droppable? Like, can I just jump down, or is it?
it's at an angle
have
where
to
you
use
where
rope.
you yeah you'd have to use rope because
Oh,
you can
fuck.
actually you can see in the art like it's at a weird angle.
Yeah.
But as soon you see through this window pane, the suit of armor that appeared to be an
Window
inanimate
pane.
object got off of its stand and just skewered
Yo,
you with this
no.
like
I'm down to 0 hit points, by the way.
oh
I
my
had
god.
5. No. So now
All
you're
right.
0.
Yeah, so you get
Hey,
a you get a
scar.
This could be good or it could be very
That's
bad.
right.
All right, roll a d12.
And you said it was a random
Mhm.
order, right?
Okay. This is actually a good one.
Yes.
So, this scares you so thoroughly. You see that this like suit of armor that has no person on the inside of it. It's just an inanimate suit of armor that just comes to life, stands up straight, turns, and just jabs you with this massive pole that it has, sort of like a pole arm. Just jabs you in the side with it. it leaves you very shaken. So after this combat, if you defeat this thing, you're going to roll a d6, and if it's higher than your current hit points, you're going to take the higher. So you could potentially get a 6 instead of a 5 for your HP, because essentially, like, after you've calmed your nerves, you've learned something about combat and how to position yourself in it. But you have the conditioned shaken nerves. So you're like stammering and shaking as you're holding this rapier just barely, and you're like descended onto this deck. Do you let go of the rope? Or are you on the deck now itself? Or the balcony, I should say?
Yeah, I'd say he's just trying to like stay balanced on the balcony and not like fly like and so all of his weight is being suspended by the rope. He's just trying to like cling onto like the balcony, but he's all like shooken up by this unexpected piercing.
Now that you're closer, you see the armor has like engravings on it that depicts all the ways it could potentially kill someone. You see it's like the armor skewering someone with a pole arm. You see an image of the armor garroting someone from behind. You see another one of it like fighting someone in a battle, but they're like old style,
where
like Renaissance
it's taking down
engravings.
Another set of armor
No,
that looks exactly like it?
no, good question though. But
It has a big like weak like.
this is what it looks like. This set of armor.
Oh shit. Oh, yeah, cool.
How do you fight an inanimate object is the question.
But that'll take us to all of you guys. So you hear this commotion coming down from below. I'll have Devars act first since you're there. He essentially got to act in like a surprise round. So now you could try to strike back if you want. Or you could try to like climb up the rope and go back. Whatever you're feeling.
I'm gonna be like, it got me! Pull me up! I'm gonna like try to like have them pull me up and also like simultaneously like climb up.
Okay, do you guys help him up?
Yeah. Oh yeah, we do.
It's easy enough. You actually see from top like this pole arm just jutting out, trying to hit him at these odd angles, but it keeps missing. And they actually help you up to the to above the stern castle, and you guys are all just looking below as the pole arm just recedes back into the stern castle.
There was a big man in his armor. He just stabbed me. Why didn't you tell me there was someone in there?
There wasn't. It was. I told you it was armor.
Well, there's someone in the armor. You should have said because
I didn't see anyone in the armor.
Arnold.
Classic D&D bar graphs.
As a player, this is so tempting.
I do want to go in, but it's
I want to
probably
get
not
the
smartest
loot,
time.
dude.
We can come back for it. Nothing saying we can't loot it later. We can also check the other ships too. This is just like the ship we know, like are somehow familiar with.
Maybe there's a way we can
he's right in
outsmart
there.
them.
What? You better make sure. You better climb over and make sure he's not climbing up the rope after us.
We look down.
No,
Does
appears to
it
be like
Nothing.
more or less a sentry in place.
All right. Well, I finished pulling this rope up, back on deck, and Lily Hart suggests.
Perhaps we should just trap the bastard in there then.
I mean, he is trapped in there. That's what the doors are for, and I like kick the doors that are locked.
Wait,
Well, he can unlock them, can't he?
Perhaps
That'd be really funny. It'd be terrifying.
Maybe we should.
the belt.
Well, the way that Devarse, that's your character, right, Vinny? Devarse. The way that Devarse described it, it just sounds like a guy in a suit of armor. It didn't sound like an inanimate
no.
object.
No,
It is an inanimate
it is an
but-
inanimate object.
Yeah.
Devar's was just so shooken up by the like.
Well,
it
yeah,
instantly
I'm going role playing for
Yeah.
here. I'm saying, so I'm treating this like it's a person that we're gonna like barricade in their own room so that they like starve to death or something.
I love that. That's amazing.
Do you think we could knock them off the back of the boat?
We'd have to get behind him somehow.
Well, the balcony's out there that Devar went down, right?
Yeah, but he'll hear us coming down, probably stab us again, and I point to the hole in
Well, if
Devar's
we're
chest.
Well, if
can-
we expect him this time,
I mean,
we'll be ready for him to attack.
I feel like it'd be so cool if Bakara and I just like both rappelled down at the same
Yeah,
time,
is-
just like
is there
grabbed
another
him and just
rope?
tossed him off the fucking.
Is there another rope? That'd be sick.
It's a ship, dude. There's so many ropes.
Yeah. Yeah, there are probably, half a dozen different kinds of ropes on this deck, so you could certainly try it. They're not the kinds of ropes you could take with you, but they're the kinds of ropes you could utilize in this moment if you wanted.
Yeah, definitely. I think we
well-
definitely should do that.
Question, Tyler. Would my
the front door.
experience with the automatons give me any advantage in dealing with this sentry?
Oh, that's a really cool point.
Is that this
yeah.
game though? There's
Yeah.
automaton.
Right back.
Yeah.
Backstory.
Yeah, why don't you roll a willpower check for me?
Just because it might be related.
You might know Baxter offhand.
Nice.
Oh yeah. I'm rolling great tonight.
So, I'm actually going to put this in metagame terms because it'll be easier to convey. You know that with automatons, they're typically easier to fight because as soon as you disable their HP pool, they're just done. They collapse into like a suit of armor or into their disparate parts. But as a result, they typically have higher HP pools than most creatures because they're just like fortified against attacks. But you gather like in character that targeting the weak point of this armor, which is probably the regions you'd expect for like a person wearing the same armor, like the neck, where the chest plate meets the arm plates. Targeting those points could be potential ways to disable it entirely.
So you guys gonna rappel down simultaneously?
Only if you are willing to try to knock down the door. At the same time. Double-sided.
Maybe knocking down the door would be the best idea. I
Are
want
the
to
hinges
be
on the
able to see this
outside?
That
thing
was my
coming.
original idea.
Wait, are the hinges on the outside, like, do they open outward towards us?
Yeah, they have two handles, and it looks like they do like open out, or they should.
Can we smack the hinges with your mace?
Oh fuck.
You just fucking start wailing on them because they're on the outside.
Yeah.
That, or are there any cannons on wheels that we could turn into a battery?
That'd be wild.
That actually could be an option, but they're not on the weather deck. They're on the gun deck. So you'd have to
Cannons
somehow
are heavy.
yeah, you'd have to somehow lift it up, which would be very difficult.
That or just pieces of wood we could use to better.
Yeah, there's got to be like some sorts of like tools that are on this ship.
Rope.
Right?
There's rope.
Oh, there's rope. No way.
Are there aboard
Any what?
winches?
Winches?
And you pull rope, you like wind rope in, and has a tension to it.
Dude, it's like the big. I'm thinking Pirates of the Caribbean where they have like the big wheel winch in like the center mast that they turn to like hoist the sails.
Is that the thing that he is like
Yeah,
running along? What? That's a winch.
yeah. There is. You do see
Oh,
you do see a winch. It's probably the length of like a person lying down, and it's close to the main mast.
We could always try to tie a rope to the door handles and use the winch to rip it open.
That's really smart. I didn't even
That's
think
so
of that.
cool. Yeah, I love that.
And he's gonna start getting that set up, I think.
Okay.
We could try to develop a battering ram to just knock the thing off of the outside of the boat as soon as we open the door. Just run through it.
Yeah, I feel like maybe like two of us could hoist like a longer plank or something and just use it to like push it back at a distance. Get!
Get out! We don't want you no more. Get out of here.
All right. So which plan would you guys like to do? Do you want to do the winch? Do you want to try to break the hinges?
I'm down for the winch. You guys are.
Yeah, let's do the wait, fucker, stop.
That's a really
Lucas is-
smart.
Lucas's fucking dog came into my room and is biting my blanket. Stop doing that.
A dog
You
comes
ever-
up to you on the boat, starts biting at your ankles.
Pat, free pad.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's really smart. As you sort of snake the ropes through the actual handles and use the winch, just slowly pushing it in a rotation until the two front handles just snap off and the doors break open towards you. You see some of like the maps and charts inside start to like flutter from the breeze, but the armor remains inanimate.
It's just like
Oh,
set
it's
to
gonna-
defend.
yeah,
this,
it's gonna
this
defend
room
the area.
specifically. That's good for us because that means we can do more planning.
Yeah, can we build like a little hook of sorts on the end of a plank that just would capture? That would kind of go around its hips, and then we just from a distance, all of us holding this thing.
What if we took a rope attached to a cannon and roped the guy and then pushed the cannon over the ship?
I like.
At this point, we can just roll the cannon up from the lower deck, point it at the thing,
We should just
and shoot it.
deconstruct the ship board by board, because then is it even the same ship anymore? Will it even follow the directive to protect the room?
That's really funny.
There is no room it can't.
Is there a reason for us to go in this room though?
It has the good.
Like it has loot, but like, do we need to know where we are, or are we just trying to find shelter for the day?
I mean, maps
Well,
would be not
The
having-
idea was to like loot this area before we like head inland
Okay. So
for.
you don't have to go to the captain's quarters to go below deck, do you?
No.
You don't lock something unless it's worth value. There's
No.
something in this room.
You can actually see it on the map, but there's a
Yeah, it's
a
like
set
this
of
one here.
yeah, there's a set of stairs that lead. There's two sets actually that lead down to the gun deck. There's one that appears to be over like one of those wooden grates that you see on ships all the time.
Yeah.
And there's one that appears directly in front of the stern castle going down. And you do see
I see.
there are, I mean, from looking down the wooden grate, there are a total of 18 cannons on this ship. 9 on either side. Or sorry, 8 on either side, 1 front, 1 back.
I mean, we can spend our time. We can spend our time doing this, but we can also do it on the way out.
I think there's probably a way that we can cleverly deal with it without taking a lot of time.
Can we just use a board to like fish out the maps and stuff? Or
I
like,
guess, yeah, I guess we can at least
lasso the-
test to see
lasso the
like what
desk
it
and,
reacts to.
yeah. I throw the helmet inside that I picked up from the boat.
Okay, where do you throw it?
I'm
We
assuming
could've
it's like
used
there's
that
a
helmet.
there's a there's a center desk, right? I just throw it. I just roll it in there.
Okay. It rolls, and you see it doesn't react until it makes it past the desk, closer to the windows. And then it takes the
Oh.
polearm, skewers the helmet, and just keeps hitting it until it's like dented. And then it stops.
Fucker.
Oh.
Takes the polearm back to yeah, it's not usable anymore, unfortunately, but
You
it holds
fucking
it straight
ruined
up.
the one armor item. The loot goblin destroys all the loot.
Well, I guess we can walk inside then. I don't know if I want to try that, but I guess it's supposed to guard the back while the captain's like sleeping or something.
Doing another fight is kind of a scary idea when two of us are at 0
Yeah.
HP.
Well, I'll say this: both you guys, immediately after the fight, this is how the system works. Your HP is restored to maximum.
Oh.
It's only
Oh, it's just that any like damage to your strength remains.
yeah. So, but I'm gonna add this caveat: if you don't have food or water, it just stays at 0,
Wow.
which is why you want to keep eating and drinking, so you can keep that up. But since it's the first day, you guys all basically have a free pass.
Okay, 5.
Oh.
Okay, maybe we
I
should
feel
go and
good, I
fight it
feel
then. Whoa, whoa.
You can all just try to go and fight this thing. This better be worth it.
We should surround it.
Around it, it's gonna just jab the first person it sees.
Not if we jab that fucker first.
All right, I say we all rush in, and then we just deal with it head on. I guess.
All right.
Yeah, I'm not going
are there,
first.
By the way, are there like any like chains on the ship?
Not that you can see. Not
Okay.
on the weather deck.
Are there any ropes that aren't like just absolutely massive?
Yeah. Yeah, you see like essentially like a normal sized rope just coiled up.
I think that two of us should clothesline this thing. And then the rest should just like fucking beat on it.
Clothesline how?
We'll just take two sides of a rope and just sprint at it on either side.
A heavy rope, my guy.
Well, how heavy is
Thanks,
this armor?
dog.
It might be light if there's no body in there. Maybe it's just the empty air.
Okay, I'm not the strongest person, so like, if someone else wants to do that, like the two strong people want to do that, that'd be good.
Yeah. I'm guessing the two strong people are Lily Hart and Bakara, based on the sounds of it.
Seems right.
All right, grab the rope.
Strong is.
Are you game for that, Caleb?
I mean, yeah, let's give it a shot. Strong, like I said, still a strong word.
All right. So since it's like all of you guys versus this set of armor, if it fails a save against your gambit, so for this set of armor, let me pull up its stats.
It has 18 strength.
It's actually going to have to make a dexterity save against DC 10. So if it gets below a 10, then it manages to fend you off and the gambit has failed. If it gets above, you guys will get a bonus die to the damage that you're gonna deal it.
Ooh, so it's like it's a literal 50-50.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I like this.
Oh,
Oh my
it just meets
God.
it.
He got
Ow.
us.
You see, as soon as you guys go in with the
we
rope,
both comically fall down.
yeah,
It's just two standing too hard in place, and we both just woo, like
Yeah.
cartoon slip.
yeah. I'm gonna say because of, I mean, this just makes the most sense physics-wise. You guys rush forward with the rope, and it's such a stalwart object that you both end up almost colliding on the far side. So this round, your guys' attacks are going to be impaired as you're slightly tangled with each other. That being said, I'll have you all roll a dexterity save to see if you can act before it, because it's like ready for you
boy.
by the time you get there.
Dude, why am I rolling? Dexterity is my
Yo, what?
worst stat, and that's the only thing I've been succeeding on checks for.
Dex is my best stat, and I'm failing.
Also,
I have an 8 dex. I don't have good rolls in general, but
All right. So, since you rolled a 1, I'm going to roll that you're not impaired. So you actually managed to extricate yourself quickly. And do you have your pitchfork on you?
yeah.
Yeah, you gather
Just
your pitchfork and
Get back up and just like try to stab it in the neck, quote unquote.
yeah. So
Is anybody else attacking?
yeah.
I mean, I can't.
I'll attack.
You can still attack. You're just going to roll a d4 for damage because you're impaired.
Thank God I was hitting with a stick before, anyways.
True. I mean, that's kind of accurate.
Get fucked though.
Alright.
So everyone that's attacking can roll damage at this point,
Yeah, I
and we'll
rolled
take
a
the
1,
highest.
so the 4 is actually still good. Who
Who
else is attacking?
I
And
need to roll a
Check.
d6.
Oh,
Hey.
nice.
6, nice.
6 is good. I guess that's the benefit of everybody attacking together, is that you're much more likely to get a decent number.
Yep. So tell me, it seems like Devars is the one who comes out on top, maybe because he knows these suits of armor and how they operate. But tell me how you guys set him up so that he can land this hit on him.
I mean, you see me dangling off like an idiot.
Well, yeah. Well, I feel like we almost collide. Lilyheart just like stops for a second and just holds you by the shoulder to like get you to steady yourself, and then we both just like yank as hard as we can to just like throw it the slightest bit off balance for Devars to do whatever he's doing. What attack are you throwing in there, Devars?
The Babe Ruth Grand Slam. He doesn't want to miss this, so he just really just winds up and just cranks him with the mace. Just in the back.
Right?
And you see this like chain-mailed hand just catches the mace in its hand. And it's
Oh my
holding it there.
God.
It's still up. You haven't reduced its HP fully because the armor reduces
Oh
the damage
God.
incoming.
That's right.
Oh.
So
Just catch it.
it's still in the
terrifying.
fight. Yeah, and you see like all along its breastplate are like images of different ways it's killed people carved into the armor, and it just holds it, and it's gonna use. I'm gonna flavor it as like it's gonna use your own mace against you, but it's gonna roll its damage.
Stop hitting yourself. Stop hitting yourself.
Stop it yourself.
Oh boy.
So this is gonna be a 3 against you, so that brings you down to 2 HP, I think.
Yeah, that's
Alright,
so I can take.
that's good. He didn't immediately go down to 0.
Like last time, major improvement.
Yeah. So why don't you guys all, why don't you guys all roll another Dex save to see if you can act before it this round?
That's more like it.
That's the same roll.
I guess the plus side is if one of you succeeds in this group, you guys can get your hits in.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess it would be like, is it like 2 separate instances of hits?
Yeah,
If you're
I think that's the way it's supposed to be played, is like 2 separate instances of hits. But since it's one enemy, it doesn't really matter too much. Actually, I probably should split it up just to be accurate here. So who are we missing? Bakar, I'll just need to roll a Dex save.
Oh, did not go through it then. Rolled a 15 again. Doesn't matter. 14.
Gotcha. So That means Devarse, you're the only one that gets to act in time. You see it's holding your mace that it just used to strike you with. And it's just this eerie feeling of like looking into this soulless, uninhabited suit of just metal. Just
So,
blackness staring back at you.
De-armed? Disarmed?
No, it still has its pole arm.
No. Does Devarse have his mace still, or does it
Yeah,
have his...
You still have it. You guys are both just contending over it, so you could
just hit it into you?
Yeah, you could use it to hit it back. So why don't you roll
maybe just like
a
a
D6.
jab. I'll try to jab him.
Nice. With a 6. You take the mace and you impact the side of its like Morian helmet, and it's dented now. And you see the blackness is starting to spill out from the visor like smoke. It's close to being defeated. Which will take us to it, unfortunately.
Oh no.
Oh no.
This time it's just
No,
going to take its
Devarse.
pole arm and it's just going to try to jab you in the stomach with it. So it's going to be a D6 roll.
1, 1, 1, 1, 1. Oh, whoa, what the fuck happened?
2.
Oh, exactly to 0 again.
Zero exactly.
Yes! The luck.
Yo, the scar man, the scar
The
man.
Scar Man. Roll a D12.
Hold on, I have to relaunch. I don't know why my D20 was being weird. Just give me one second.
That's crazy.
I know, this is wild.
Okay, it's just gonna... I don't know why D20 kicked me out. For
Get
some
another
reason.
good one, dude. Become our fucking demigod character.
Okay. I might just have you roll this. I don't know why D20 is being weird. If you
Yeah,
just
sure.
want to roll that for me.
Because we're planning on roll 20, not D20.
Oh shit, wrong link. It's a 9, by the way.
Oh, you fucked me. He fucked me.
Yeah, this is not a good one. I'm sorry.
Oh no! You should let me roll. I knew you were gonna do this to me.
I did it on purpose, dude. No, so it's called Splintered Mind. So this actually makes sense because you had the shaken nerves condition before, but essentially facing this thing, it's so inhuman to you that it like causes you a lot of emotional distress.
What was it called? The condition?
A splintered mind. So you will not be able to regain hit points until you spend a night's rest.
Oh.
Because essentially this thing is just replaying in your mind, and it's causing you to be unable to just calm down and restore those hit points.
That's brutal.
Yeah, it is tough. So that'll take us back to... Let's go with Bakara, because you have the lowest number.
Alright.
Actually, all you guys can roll your damage, because you're all attacking at the same time.
Yeah, are we doing a fucking combo attack?
Combo attack.
Give me that songs.
Are you still rolling a d4 now?
All I have is a stick in my head. That's deep.
I'm back.
Oh, did you not have a West starting weapon?
I have a bomb.
7.
Nice.
One time.
All right, so Marcel and Bakara, how do you set him up to land this blow?
I think while he's stabbing Devarse, I'll try to like grab his arm, very like not planned, but like I'm holding his arm in place, we're getting ready for like a strike.
Perfect.
And for me, now that he's turned around, obviously was focused on Devarse, I'm gonna try to get him to like, I'm gonna smack him in the back of the knees and try to get him to like lean back a little
Kneel. Oh
Little-
yeah.
bit. Little smack.
Oh
down.
yeah, and with the leaning back, already bracing the pitchfork so that when he falls back,
But you had a
the
pitchfork.
pitchfork just goes like up into the helmet, and I'm guessing like it's like an enchantment or something, right?
It off.
So does it
Yeah.
just become an inanimate object again? So it's just a suit of armor.
Yeah.
Everything else collapses, and it's just the pitchfork with the helmet kind of staked upon it.
Yeah. I love that. Yeah, the suit of armor just collapses to the ground.
I also collapsed because I was putting my weight on the arm.
Whoa!
Yeah, and you see the helmet itself is dented and unusable because of your strikes, but the rest of the armor is usable and wearable.
Oh shit.
You see, Mars will get up, like dust his coat off, like nothing happened. Like, well, that's that. And you see him going around, just like looking around the cabin.
Ooh, do I get to roll the d6? Does that still?
Yeah.
Does that scar still?
So if you roll a 6, you'll increase your HP to 6.
Shit.
Aw.
No.
Nah,
He's wow. Terrible. Rolls.
Bad storytelling.
bad storytelling. I think
After
it
after
only
we
makes
defeat,
sense.
I think the Varsh goes over and maybe like it just like gives it a slap or two, even though it's like no longer a threat. And then he carves into like the suit of armor, just like very like first grader like stick figures of just like another one with like a big stick like bashing like another, even though that wasn't a killing blow, but just to add to his depictions.
His final death. I love it.
What is this pole arm?
Yeah. So it looks like just a long stick with like a spearhead at the end of it.
Yeah.
So
I'll be
it would be
weapons.
it would be a D6 for damage.
D6.
D6 bulky.
I mean, yeah, there's some weapons in here, right? We gotta give something to our boy.
I want to
Or
search.
sorry,
There's gotta be
sorry.
something.
A pole arm's actually a D8 bulky, not a D6 bulky.
You can take the pole arm Bakara if you want.
Is
An
that
actual weapon.
I'll take it.
Yeah, you essentially take this long spear used by like, usually it's used by cavalry, so it's interesting to see it with this suit of armor. Are you guys searching around the room?
Yeah, maybe so you said this suit of armor is usable? Other than the helmet?
Yeah. So it in metagame terms, it would serve as armor too, against any incoming blows.
You have to wear the whole thing, or
You'd have to wear you'd have to wear the
Good
breastplate
question.
and
The
the
cuirass or whatever it's
yeah.
called.
and like the pants section as well. But yeah, the helmet's
Nice.
destroyed.
somebody else in the shirt.
Pants and shirt.
Yeah, so if you want to split it
Oh.
up, it just would be armor 1 to both people.
Ooh. I mean, if we want to be like the front liney type boys, then maybe that's a good idea.
I don't mind wearing pants if you want to take the top.
Yeah, I'll
That's
take
so
the top.
funny.
You look very muscular, so I think it would be a shame if your torso were covered up by that armor.
Yeah, Tyler, did we ever actually determine the nagging wound?
I don't think we did, but why don't you do you have an
The
idea?
nagging wound.
Well, you had said gut rot before.
Yeah, I was spitballing. It could be whatever you think is appropriate.
So I feel like the attempted assassination, they had to really think he was dead by the time, like they must have thought he was dead and left, and he wasn't dead. So I'm gonna say he got like a nice stab in the side, like of his stomach, that like he actually doesn't cover with anything because it looks kind of thick. But like it's definitely not like good. Like he's definitely not great. Like it's like
Oh.
he's lost some abdominal bits, but like he leaves it as like a don't fuck me wound.
Some like intense scarring down there.
Oh yeah, it looks unlike it looks. I mean, you know Deadpool's face,
Yeah.
that on his side, like just like
Ugh.
half eye got like torn asunder.
Yeah, that's brutal. Yeah,
But
sorry.
it's all gross now.
Cool.
I think, Tyler, you'll resonate with this one. I'm putting my hat in the ring for him having an appendix that could burst at any moment.
Too close to home for me.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah.
So I just put in my inventory a cuirass with 1 armor. So I
Cool.
guess you would put in like leggings or greaves or something. Caleb.
Great. Sounds way cooler.
Greaves. Greaves.
How'd you know I spelled it wrong?
So do you guys search the stern
Well, it's
castle?
a weird word, and you spell everything wrong.
Yes.
Okay. You find in the desk there appears to be a locked drawer. All the other drawers have been are full of like writing implements and other like useless baubles and trinkets, but there does appear to be like a locked drawer at the bottom.
Yeah. Marshall,
Yeah, I
come
go up
use
and
your
lockpick it.
fine muscles.
My
Okay.
defined muscles, my finger muscles.
Hmm.
You pick the lock and you find within it 2 flintlock pistols.
Oh,
And I'll make
That's
a
good
roll
for
for this
range.
Yeah, who's a range boy?
with 8 powder shot.
oh.
Good roll.
I'm not a. I'm not a frontline person, so I'll take one of the flintlock pistols.
So it's going to be D8 damage, and you have to reload after your shot, and it takes 2 rounds to
cool.
reload.
Cool. Anyone want
Do-
the other?
Do you want to take the other one, Vinny?
I'll grab the other one. Probably good to
Nice.
have.
Yeah, I
Look
do
at
the.
us. Look at us
I do the-
splitting the loot.
I do the flip,
Such a good
like
party.
the pistol, like grab it by the barrel and give it to you, and then I give you like the 4 shot that you have.
I just thought of that scene with Johan's character in Call of Cthulhu. He puts a gun in his own mouth
So dark.
after pointing
It at Jackson Elias.
it at Jackson Elias.
Is there a bed in this quarters?
Yeah, so
We
I'll
could just sleep in the ship.
Ooh.
it is
Ooh.
true. I'm gonna sort of go point of order here for what you discover. That is a part of it. The second thing you discover is you sort of look at all the charts, Marcel, and you see the course of the Loyal Watcher is clearly marked on this like large chart that's done up like in typical cartographic fashion. It looks like the Watcher was meant to go from the Grand Docks of Bastion to a distant region of the Golden Lands, which is where Bakara's from. It's accessible via the Southern Sea through an area called the Southern Pass, which is why the Southern Pass Company is called what it is. You find a handwritten note, a dedication signed by one Commodore Diamatia. And it's handwritten, and it just says, "Godspeed, you pale rider. You'll never want for reward again, so perhaps this is goodbye as well." You find an inventory log, and you find your names listed as cargo being brought along as essentially
Sex slaves.
what the company calls workmen, which are essentially branded people, typically prisoners taken from the Bastionard prisons, branded and just sent out into like remote regions to gather arcanum. And if they survive, they survive. If they don't, the brand will kill them after a certain amount of time.
What?
Oh.
What the fuck?
And you find as part of it this like stipulation, this contract that denotes exactly what happens. It says if 2 weeks go by and these workmen do not return with arcanum to a Southern Pass quartermaster, the brand will terminate them.
Oh Jesus! So we have 2 weeks to go
Did
find.
anybody else? Did anybody think of getting brand insurance?
So we have. Well, funny enough, I did collect some crystals, so we can bring back some Arcanum and sort of does it buy our freedom, or do we have to go back out? Does the note say?
Or it's like getting an antidote that keep to
Yeah.
stave off the.
Yeah, the note seems to indicate that you need to surrender an Arcanum to a Southern Pass quartermaster to have the brand relieved.
Oh,
but-
interesting.
But
So
There-
we're
there
basically
could be other ways of-
indentured servants
Yeah.
but the stipulation is bringing Arcanum back as opposed
Yeah.
to just working for a long time.
but
Pretty
you know,
much.
there could be other
The
ways of
mass-
removing it.
You give them the math.
Yeah. Did you all? Yeah.
It's
We have one
Indentured
mask.
servitude kind of mixed with Crank at the same time, starring
Well-
Jason Statham.
Yes.
If we kill ourselves, maybe they'll become void.
You know what?
Did
You're
you
so
say
right.
the-
Let me just put that fucking funeral rite mask on you.
Did you say the crystals were Arcanum, or no? They were just like a drug that people like using.
Essentially a magical drug.
Okay. So we gotta find some more Arcanum as a backup, but we can also try to find some other way to take off the brand.
I mean, we have one Arcanum right
We
now.
have one Arcanum. It's the mask.
It's the mask.
But as you all are gathered around the desk, Bakara, your eyes drift over towards the bedroom. And as you turn to look, you hear a clicking noise directly behind you. You see
Oh,
coming forth hidden from the bedroom, there's a man with a blunderbuss pointed directly at all of
Holy
you.
shit! I dive out of the way.
And he just says, "Put everything you've picked up back on the desk, filthy fucking thieves." And that's where we'll leave off.
Always has been.
Dude, what?
Wow.
You can't kill us all. Fucking take them, boys.